Thanks so much for clicking on this video and for joining me on this discussion around the topic of money. Now, money can be quite a heavy topic for many of us. We've all got some baggage around money. There's a lot of emotion around money, and often we find it really difficult to talk about money. And we don't feel very empowered to talk about money either. And I think because of this, we're not having conversations with each other around money. Sometimes we might feel guilty also about money, about how we spend money, the ways that we earn money, and also if we're earning more money than our friends or our peers or our partner, then there can be quite a lot of agitation around money as well. So I think one of the things that I've learned, and I am no expert in money, I'm just sharing my thoughts about money and the things that have helped me get around my money mindset. So I think when it comes to money, I think the more that we can, and especially I think as women, that more that we can talk about money, the more we can be empowered about talking about money, asking questions around money, having more control about our money, being able to understand what our value is in terms of that monetary sense, the more that we collectively as women will be better off. Because at the moment, what is happening is that pay gap is real, and that I think that part of this is the fact that if we can't talk about it, how do we ask for something that we can't even talk about? How is it that we ask for something that we ourselves don't feel like we deserve? So when you're thinking about money and when you are first trying to get more empowered about money, the first step that I found that really helped me was to really think about my money mindset. What are the stories that I'm telling myself around money? What is it? What are my habits around money? And how do I feel about those habits? How do I feel about how I spend money? How do I feel about how money comes into my bank account? How do I feel when I pay bills or pay off my credit card or whatever it is that I'm doing? What are the stories that I'm telling myself about money? And what are the stories that I need to start telling myself about money in order to be empowered around money? What are the stories that I need to start saying to myself? What are the things that I need to be doing? What sort of mindset do I need to have in order to be the person that is successful with money and is empowered by money and who can talk about money and who can, not carry the baggage around money? So the first thing that I would say to you is to start thinking about your mindset and then start thinking about the person that you need to be and what mindset you need to have in order to be able to do the things that you want to do and to feel empowered with money. And for each of us, that's going to be different. So take the time to work through that. The next thing that I found really helped me with money, and this can be really triggering for a lot of us, is I don't like budgets. Like, I'll be really transparent with you. I don't like budgets. I don't stick to budgets. Budgets feel very restrictive to me, and both in my personal life and in my business, I've not done budgets. I don't do budgets. But what I do like to do is I like to track information because, a bit of a nerd that way. So what I would really highly encourage you to do is use a spreadsheet, or you can click on the link to get my spreadsheet, free download. And what you want to do is you want to have a look at all of the revenue that's coming in. So revenue is a term business owners use, just it's all the money that's coming in basically. So what you want to do is start tracking all the money that's coming in. So that might be through wages, it might be through your superannuation, it might be from a side hustle, it might be from selling items online, whatever it is, however you're bringing money in, you want to be able to track that. So you want to have all of your income coming in. Now, also on this spreadsheet, I also like to have any debts that I have, because I want to look at the overall, I guess, cash in hand. How much money right now do I have that I have access to? So what I also do is I also put in the credit card amounts. If you've got buy now, pay later accounts or afterpay or whatever it is, put those in there as well, but just with the negative amounts. And so at any given time, you get this snapshot, like a photograph of how much money you have at hand. And I think that's really important because you can then see how your bank accounts change. And often what we might do is we might just look at one account, but we're not looking at all of our accounts. And especially if you've got accounts that you're sharing with a spouse or a partner, I think that's really important to just know how much money that both of you have at any given time. So that's the first thing that I would do. The second thing I would do is then list, and this is tedious and there is no way around it. It is awfully tedious, but it is really helpful, is to go through and put down every expense that you have. Now, we're at a digital age, so luckily a lot of these bills come through email format, so you can just search through your emails to get a rough amount about how much your utility bills are, any subscriptions, any kind of self-care that you do, your credit card payments, whatever, mortgage payments, whatever it is, your rent payments. And again, put that in. And as you'll see in the freebie that I've got for you, is that it's done by month. So what you can do is you can just put in whenever your gas bill comes in or your electricity bill comes in, and it actually will add up on that final column how much money you are spending on your utility bills or your rent payments or your mortgage payments every year. And then what I've done, just to help you understand about kind of that budgeting side of things, is to allocate those amounts to weekly, fortnightly and monthly amounts. And so now you've got a better handle on your finances. You know exactly how much money you've got at any given time, and you know what your expenses are. Now, with the income spreadsheet, I would be doing that at least once a week. So pick a day, any day, it won't matter, and just take a snapshot of what income you've got across the board, because you want to keep that updated on a weekly basis. And when you are applying, say, for a loan for a car or a home or whatever it is that you need to get finance for, you've got this information at hand. Now, with the expenses spreadsheet, what I would be doing is I would be reviewing that every 3 to 4 months. So at least every quarter, or if you want to, every 4 months, but just review it, because you might find that you've got subscriptions that you don't need anymore. It might be that you've got extra expenses, like you might be looking at your accounts and going, how is it that things aren't stretching as far as they should be stretching? And you might find that you've got some extra expenses that they're just not on your radar. And that's all it is that we're not bad with money. You're not bad with money. I'm not bad with money. It's just that it's not always at front of mind and it's not always on our radar. So this is how we make it, make ourselves better with money, is by just knowing how much money is coming in, how much money is going out. Now, if you wanted to, you could take the extra step of creating a budget. If you are somebody that enjoys having a budget, then definitely go for it. For me, it's not for me, but I like being able to track the money that's coming in, and I like to track my expenses and just do a bit of a review over the expenses. So that's how you get a good insight. So far we've talked about your money mindset. Then we've talked about how to actually get clear about what's coming in and what's going out. Now, the final thing about money is this. I think that often, if we don't deem ourselves good with money and we don't have a really good handle on our finances, we also don't have a lot of clarity in regards to what do we want our money to do for us. Because the thing is money has a purpose, and the purpose is to open doors for you. And that might be to own a home. It might be to buy a car. It might be to start a business. It might be to get married. It might be a whole range of things. Money is there to open a door for you. So what doors do you want open? Not the doors that your parents want open for you, not the doors that your friends want open for you, not even the doors that your spouse or partner might want open for you. What are the doors you want open? Because I think sometimes what happens is that we start to fall in this trap of comparison. So we start looking at what other people are supposedly earning, or if we're brave enough, we'll have that conversation to ask them what they're earning. And then we start going, okay, well, they've done this with their money. I should do this with my money. And then they do X with their money. And then you want to do Y with your money. but is that what you actually want? Because money is there to serve you. So once you know what it is that you want to do with your money, you'll know exactly how much money you need. And then once you know how much money you need, you will know the types of jobs that you can go after. You'll know what sort of income you'll need from those jobs, and you'll know what opportunities you can take up and the opportunities that you might need to say to no to right now, because they don't serve you with your financial goals. So that's really important. I think we all get a bit lost, especially in the social media age of comparisons. So starting to really stop and think, what is it that you want your money to do? So I'll give you a personal story from us. So when, so Paul and I were at that point where we were ready to purchase a property, and all of our friends had homes, like houses, and they had the lawns, and they had, you know, the 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom homes and all the things. But for us, that's not what we wanted to do. That was not how we wanted to live our lives. We're not having children. So we wanted a place where we absolutely adored, in the heart of, not quite in the city, but we wanted to be able to have really easy access to bars and restaurants and parks. We wanted to be close to the water, and we wanted somewhere where we could lock up and leave, because the idea was, and this was pre-pandemic, was to travel. So we wanted somewhere that was really easy to lock up and leave. So we bought an apartment because that's what suited us. And in terms of money and where money fit into this, I was really clear about how much money we needed, in terms of a loan, in terms of what we could pay back. And I kept in mind that I didn't want to ever go into any sort of financial stress, and it had to be a really affordable home loan for us, because home loan rates are quite low at the moment, but they're going to go up, and I didn't want us to have any stress around that. And I am in small business, Paul is in small business, so our income fluctuates. So I wanted a mortgage that was going to be really flexible to that. And so that's what I mean about opportunities, and that's what I mean about doors. You've got to pick the doors that are right for you, and you've got to use your money to serve you. We could have got a bigger loan, we could have got a bigger apartment, we could have bought a house, but none of that served us. It wasn't the purpose of what we wanted. And when we see increases in interest rates, we're not going to be as panicked by that, because we've got a lot more room to move, more maneuvering room. The same thing happened when we had to buy a car. So my car got written off and I had to buy a car, and I had to buy a car quite quickly. And as you know, it's really difficult at the moment to purchase a car. And again, we did the same thing where we kind of went, look, personally, if I had all the money in the world, I'd buy a Tesla. I don't have all the money in the world. Didn't buy a Tesla, didn't get a loan for a Tesla, did not even look at a Tesla, because that is not what we wanted to do with our money. Our money needs to serve us. A car needs to serve us. So we got a car that does a job, and does a job really, really well, but it wasn't going to extend us financially, and it wasn't going to make life difficult for us, and we weren't going to have to sacrifice other things in order to get that car. So because that's what's important to us. Now that's different for you. It might be really important, the type of car that you drive, or it might be really important to have a house in a particular suburb, or it might be really important to do all the things that you want to do. But have a think about that. What is it that you want to do? And then think about that in terms of all your priorities. Get super clear on it, because once you're super clear on it, I think it becomes really easy to figure out how much money that you're going to need. And it also makes you really grateful for the money that's coming in, because it allows you to have things that you want, and you're not so resentful about having to go to work either. So I hope those tips helped you in terms of getting clear about your money. So just to recap, money mindset's the first place to start. Second one is getting a really good overview and updating that overview about the income that's coming in and the expenses that are going out. And the third thing is to get really clear about what it is that you want from the money that you are working so hard to earn. If you found this useful, please let me know. Send me a DM, or pop a comment in the comment box. If you would like the link to the spreadsheet that looks at your revenue and your expenses, just click on the link. Thanks so much for joining me.